Hi guys, welcome to another live stream with me basically. Yeah, just doing the last few sort of tweaks, button pushing, all the usual kind of stuff. I'll get some music going as well if I can find that. Bit of the old fantasy medieval tavern music always seems to be a good one. It's not too loud, not too quiet. Right, oh, I can hear myself on one of my devices. I need to shut that off. I think it was that one. Well, at least I know now. I can hear my voice. Well, you can hear my voice as well. Yeah, right. Let's just skip that so I can see what's going on. And that one. It's like there's too many things on my screen. I've got two screens, and they both seem to be full of little pop-ups and bits and pieces. But we'll get rid of that one and get rid of that one. So yeah, evening, guys. Well, obviously evening if you're in the UK. Obviously, it could be any kind of time anywhere else in the world. But generally, when I do the evening streams, it normally is sort of UK, Europe, and America, basically. Yeah, hope you're all well. Say Thursday evening. I haven't done a whole lot in regards to sprue building and stuff today. I did a few little bits for a video that's going to come out tomorrow. But yeah, so basically the video I'm going to do tomorrow is like a recap of the whole of the last year of me making things with sprues, and just going over and answering lots of questions that obviously arise quite a lot. Again, I've had quite a lot of new subscribers in the last few weeks, and according to YouTube's analytics, most of them have come from sprue videos of one description or another, whether they're my recent ones or some of the more older ones. So that's why I thought I'd do sort of like a Q&A on sprues, as well as sort of showing some of the builds I've done and basically going through how I've done them, basically. So yeah, Steve, sounds okay. Awesome. Cheers, buddy. Thanks for being there and always doing that. I say, I had so many devices up on my screen. One of them, I can hear my own voice. So yeah, soon got rid of that one. Arthur, does this mean I'm going to run out of sprues for the Manta? I've got quite a lot of sprues, obviously, because I say 2 huge boxes. 7 people, again, I don't know, 7, 8, or maybe even 9 people have messaged me in the last few days to say they've got lots. Would I like them? And it's like, yes, please. Basically, a lot of them had messaged me within the last sort of month or two, asking if I wanted their sprues. And obviously, at that time, I was saying no, because obviously I had 2 big boxes, and most things I build don't take up too many sprues, as opposed to the Manta, which is going to take up a shed load. So no, I'm not going to run out of sprues. I've got quite a lot to be going on with, and I say there's quite a lot turning up. And because the Manta is quite a big build, I really think it's going to take me at least 3-4 weeks, if not longer, to make it. So that's what I say. I think I'm going to break it down into at least 2 videos, maybe 3. Because I'm going to build the centre bit first. But basically, I want to build it and almost like have it complete, as in fully build it, sand it, smooth it, and get some like black primer on it basically. And then I'm going to work on both of the wings. So yeah, so I can't wait. I did loads and loads of panels yesterday, which I've currently got sitting around the flat underneath books to sort of keep them nice and flat. Depending on how they are, I might start building the framework for the Manta tomorrow. I'm not sure. I'm going to see how it goes. So I'm not going to rush it. I want to take my time and obviously get it right. But I may start the framework tomorrow. If not, it'll be Monday. And so generally I'm going to do live streams in the mornings whenever possible. And yeah, I'll be live streaming me building the Manta, basically. So yeah, and obviously, hello, Arthur. And well, hello everyone, basically. What am I having for my tea? Asks the tech guy. Well, I kind of had something a bit earlier. I had some noodles and chicken. But to the side of me, I have got some large, big chocolate cookies, just in case I get famished. This live stream, I'm not sure how long it's going to take. Basically, I want to do some painting on this chap. Basically, just get like all the basic sort of colours on him. I have got a lot of sprues I need to cut up. I know it's a really exciting life I lead sometimes. Because obviously I need them sprues for the Manta. Plus, to say I'm bringing out a video tomorrow, and I need to cut the sprues up to melt for the video as well. So I did see someone mention on here about the ooey gooey stuff, whether or not you need to throw this stuff away, and the answer is no. The acetone, even though it does change colour and does go quite nasty looking, I mean it kind of goes greenish with just grey sprues, but some of the sprues I've cut up are the blue and the red. There might be another colour, blue, red, might be a yellowish colour. When you put the blue and the red and the grey sprues in, the acetone goes a really dirty colour. It goes like a browny, muddy, yucky colour. But basically, the colour of the acetone doesn't seem to affect its use, properties, whatever you want to call it. So no, yeah, as I saw someone mention to the guy that asked, literally you just keep topping this up. Top it up with acetone, top it up with sprues, and just use it and use it and use it. I say I did have a jar that I used, and I didn't use it for about 7 weeks, and the goo that was in there was still good to go. The only reason that occasionally I go through and change the bottles, purely cosmetic, I don't like the fact that they start going all dirty and manky. So obviously as you like scoop the goo out, obviously you drag it up the side of the tube, side of the glass, so it leaves a mess. Obviously I only started on this one yesterday, but give this about 3-4 weeks and it will look really manky and dirty. I probably could go in and clean it, but sometimes I think, just get a new bottle. That's the only reason why I change bottles, purely cosmetic, because I say I like things to look nice and neat. Pretty silly really, but there you go. Mike Thomas, hi, all your stuff's amazing, love your channel. Cheers buddy, thank you for being here. Yeah, it's good to have you here. Dinner's in the chat. Well, I think it's because last time I did a live stream, I did about 2 hours and then I started getting hungry. And as soon as I mention I'm hungry, that's it. People start telling me what they're eating, just to wind me up, I think. So this time I've got some cookies. So I'm good to go. I had something to eat before I started, and I've got cookies. So I should be fine. Lazarus, hey man, lurk mode early today. Cool. Man of War is here. Alright, buddy. Yeah, so say, obviously any questions, by all means ask away. So my main plan for the moment is to get this painted, well, basically the basic prime colours all over it. And then I'm going to do some like washes and other stuff, but obviously they'll be like tomorrow. So yeah, so if you haven't seen it, this is, oh no, let's get the pictures. Where are the pictures? So for those of you who don't know, there's a lovely guy called Trent Miscast. That's his channel, Miscast. And he's done this Monster Bash thing. So basically it's like a random picture generator. You can go have a look at his site. I mean, there's a link down below. I think it says @Miscast. If you click on that, it'll take you to his website, or his YouTube channel even. So a guy called Trent, lovely guy, love his work. I love everything about him. He's just a really nice, decent guy. And yeah, so these are the images. So basically, it's a random picture generator. You generate 7 pictures. I mean, you can do as many as you want. You can do more, you can do less. But there's loads of people, and I think they're generally doing about 7, so I've gone for the 7. And these are the pictures that have sort of come up. And this is why I love doing this. I say this every time, but I love doing this because sometimes people kind of build the same sort of stuff all the time because they kind of get into a comfort zone that they enjoy, that they like, so they build obviously the same sort of stuff. Doing this, there is no real comfort zone because you get given a random pictures and you've got to try and make something from that. Albeit I'm having to go, well, I'm not having to go, I am doing it. I'm building mine purely out of sprues. But yeah, these are the images I've got. And from this, I did a rough picture. Where's my little picture? Yeah, so this picture I did, basically what I did was, obviously these are the pictures, the bits I got. I started building a few of these bits. Had a nice soak in the bath. It was my birthday, so I had a soak in the bath. It wasn't my birthday. And yeah, this is what I sort of popped in my head when I was in the bath. As you can see, any 6-year-old would be really proud of drawing this. But yeah, this was drawn by a 53-year-old. But maybe I should frame this and sell it. What do you reckon? Yeah, not quite bill making stuff standard, is it really? It's a bit poor. But anyway, so that's what I kind of drew. And then from my drawing, so at least it's kind of like, it's not far off the drawing. I mean, I'm pretty impressed with that. So yeah, so this is my little creation. The video for this is coming out on Halloween, but I'm getting it done early just so I can get some photos of this taken, because anyone can take part in this. So by all means, have a look at Miscast's site, get the pictures, have a go at building something, and if you take photos of it, send it to Miscast or Trent at Miscast. He'll put it in or the end of his video. So that's why I'm kind of keen to get this done sooner than later, just so it's done. I can get some pictures sent to him, and hopefully, yeah, they might appear in his video, which would be awesome. So a quick look at who's joined. Adam Forbes, yes, I've got the wet palette. Yeah, I don't use it that often, but I should. Only because obviously the wet palette, for my sort of personal use, the wet palette is awesome because obviously it keeps the paints wet, funny enough. But you can put the lid on this, and then you can use this the next day, or even I've had some that you can use like 2-3 days later, and obviously the paint doesn't dry out. And that's the main thing, because obviously these little tubes, obviously quite expensive, and you can't, well, I say I'm quite tight. You can't really afford to like squirt the paint out, use it once, and then it gets dried, and then you got to like scrape it, bin it. Whereas obviously the wet palette, obviously as well as obviously diluting the ink, the paints down a little bit as well. For me, it's personally more because it keeps the paints wet, and you can store them that way for a few days. So yeah, it saves money basically, and anything that saves money, I'm on it. Thomas Plant, hello, how it's going? It's going well, buddy. Yeah, it's going well. Yeah, you tease because you love me. Really? Teasing about food? Susan Jensen, hey, hiya, hope you're well. So yeah, Susan's only on for a short bit because I have a live drawing session to go to, drawing class. See, I want to start doing that again. I did that once when I was in my early 20s. Did the old life drawing classes. Love it, because I love drawing. But yeah, I wouldn't mind getting back into that. More so as well to meet people. Because obviously I'm fairly sort of recently, well not recently, single. So yes, I need to get out and about and meet people. Right, I'm going to do a bit of shameless plugging now. Because I don't know if you were here yesterday when I mentioned my my awesome dice tray. Well, it's not my dice tray, it's obviously the company that make it is awesome. But obviously got my ugly mug on it. And this wasn't available yesterday. It kept saying out of stock. Whereas today it now doesn't say out of stock, and you can now buy this. So if you like obviously any kind of tabletop gaming and you've got, well, loads of dice, yeah, you can now get a dice tray with my name, logo, and I love nibbly knobbly bits. So it's on their site. There's a link again down below. It's Easy Roller Dice, and if you're into dice as well, go check their dice out. And I'm really fortunate they send me loads of dice, and I love the metal ones because they've got a nice weight to them. And I think these are my favourite because these are so clear. You can see the numbers really easy. Although my other favourite ones are these like copper ones. So I love these, but you can't see the numbers as well. But I just love the dice because they're sort of oldie worldy looking. So yeah, my the dice tray, it's there now. They've only done a limited run. I'm not sure how many, but I think it's $22. But again, if you go down in the link, there is 15% off. If you type in, I think it's Mini 15. It'll be down in the link. But yeah, so if you want a dice tray with my face on, it's down below. And they have said if they sell well, they're going to make some dice with my logo, which is pretty cool. So yeah, so say basically, any questions about sprues or anything else, by all means ask. I'm just going to like crack on and basically chuck some paint on this. That's kind of how I paint. I'll just chuck it on. And obviously I am filming this. Like this video will be out later, at the end of the month, basically for Halloween. Right, you're gonna get blinded a little bit, but I need to move the light so it's kind of like facing the thing, just for this bit that I film. Obviously it kind of blows me out a little bit, but that's fine. And then so yeah, this is the biggest brush I've got, unfortunately. Obviously it's not that big, but it kind of has to do. So some of you may have seen I was building this out of the sprues during live streams, and yeah, I completed it this morning. Yeah, this morning. Yeah, I finished him off. Obviously, gave him a coat of primer, and now so for this one, I just want to get some like the base colours on, and then I'll do some washes tomorrow. So depending on how all these sprue panels go that I've done today, and the ones I did in the last few days, I might start building the framework for the Manta tomorrow. If not, it'll be Monday. Let's just do a little bit more filming, and then we can move the camera out of my face. We can move that out, and we can put this light back up so it doesn't sort of blow out at the top. There we go. Cool. So that's cool. I made my own from a Chinese ink box with red felt and carved a dragon in balsa wood lid on the lid. Oh, awesome. That's a pretty cool, cool dice trailer. Cyber Matt, hello there. Hope you're well. Hope you're all well on this Thursday evening. Well, I always say Thursday evening because obviously that's where it is where I am. But so I know several of the people there, their names obviously they are in the US of A. Yes, I'm pretty pleased with how this this little dude has come out in the end. So yes, so every part of this is sprues. So yeah, donut, his face, teeth, candles, obviously the eggs that he's kind of sitting on, his little kinky boots. Although it's a bit difficult to see his kinky boots because he's all white. It's kind of blown out a little bit on the screen. But as soon as he gets more colour on him, you'll be able to see obviously more of what he is. Well, basically it's a donut. A donut can be wearing some pink thigh-length kinky boots, as donuts kind of do. He's feeding himself a load of eyeballs. And he's going to be sitting on a pile of eggs. Just because, why not? So what have you guys done today? Anything exciting? Yeah, let me know in the comments, guys, where you are and what you've been up to today, or what you're up to now. Just because I like to obviously know what you guys are doing. Cyber Matt, what am I going to call this? I'm not sure, because at the moment I'm just kind of calling it a Halloween Fiend. Yeah, I mean, if you guys have got a name for this, by all means leave it in the comments. And if there's one that I think is quite appropriate for this, then yeah, I will call it whatever you say. Donutzilla. Well, we're off to a good start then. I quite like Donutzilla. Basically, I would want a name that kind of makes me laugh, rather than it just being like a scary name. Yeah, I'm all about things that put smiles on my face. So yeah, if you can give it a name that just makes me laugh, then there's a fair chance that would win. Description: UK and work all day. Finished an hour ago. Currently just playing with the Unreal Engine. So yeah, my work's obviously me sitting at my desk editing weddings. Which I was doing earlier. Also went out and did a photo shoot today as well. And then tomorrow will be same really. Editing some more weddings, or editing a wedding. And then I got a wedding on Saturday, which should be cool. So yeah, tomorrow. I'm not sure if I'm going to live stream in the morning or just do one. So for the video tomorrow, well, I haven't finished editing it yet, so I need to get crack on with that. But the video tomorrow should be out at 8 PM UK time. So I might do what I'm doing now and do like a stream between 6 and 8, and then go straight into the video straight after the live stream, basically. Arthur's got to go deal with food. Good luck with the gold nut. Adam been online second job hunting. Oh wow. When one job's not quite enough, get a second. Name it Homer. Well, that's obviously the picture does look like it's Homer because obviously the nose, the face, the mouth, and all that kind of stuff. So I will be doing a little bit with some sprues once I get most of this this done. Dunkin' Demonic. Yeah, I quite like that. Yeah, I reckon when this guy's done, it can sit beside my my Sprue burger. Well, it's funny because I had considered earlier cutting, like, say, half of this off of the burger. So on one side it looks like a burger, and you turn it around, and the other side's got like big teeth opening up, like a mimic out of D&D. So yeah, one side looks normal. Well, obviously normal as a big Sprue burger can look. Yeah, and the other side, it's got a big old open mouth and sharp teeth. Is that Atashia, an eye-eating demon on Wiki? Oh really? Oh well, there you go. Maybe call it a donut Atashia. Ah, the eyes have it. So if anyone's after some new brushes as well, obviously Artiscapade, someone else that I'm kind of like working with. Again, down below there's a link to get 15% off all their brushes. And if you go and have a look, I mean, I think their brushes are pretty cheap anyway. Decent quality, but yeah, their price is pretty cheap for what you get. And yeah, and they've given me a discount code as well, which I think is pretty nice of them. If anyone was here yesterday for yesterday's live stream, when I was trying to sort of melt the sprue so I could put it apart to get the wire, I did it today. Still took me a couple of attempts. Well, no, the first attempt worked, but then I tried to improve it, and the second few times it didn't quite happen. And I mean, the thing is, you heat it up, you lift it up away from the flame, and then slowly pull apart. I think my problem was yesterday, I still had it over the flame, pulling it apart, and then obviously it just ripped. So yeah, because basically what it is, guys, if you weren't here yesterday, with this sprues, I say there's lots of things you can do with sprues. Obviously melting them in the acetone is obviously a major one, but before that you can heat them up, and then if you get a sprue, heat it up, start pulling it apart slowly, you can turn it into like thin wire, which then you can then use for, well, whatever you want to use thin wire for. But I was having a go at doing it yesterday, and obviously my technique was all off because basically this wire just kept snapping. And then yeah, this morning I had a go and I kind of figured out I was just pulling it too fast, basically. Too fast and too near the flame. Because basically, obviously, for this guy, as you see, these are what I'm talking about. It's like bits of wire. So basically that's a sprue that was heated up and then pulled apart, and it just causes a nice thin, long sort of, well, thin, long, wiry bit. And then put a little bit of sprue on the top to make it look like the flame. So yeah, so everything with this is sprue. Obviously, even the base is sprue. Yeah, so tonight's stream will only be a couple of hours. Yeah, so basically I just want to get some paint on this guy, cut up a load of sprues ready for making more panels, and yeah, that'll kind of be it really. So at the moment I am making lots and lots of panels, in the same way I've made this. Well, I'll go and get you I'll show you a panel actually. Just take it. Yeah, so for this this town manta that I'm making, obviously because I am making it the sort of size that it is, so it is rather large, and I want to make sure that the structure of it is really solid, basically. So when you pick it up, you can pick it up by the wings, and it's not going to like break or crack in the middle or even just bend. So basically, what I'm doing is I'm making loads of nice sort of thick panels. Obviously, it needs to be bent out a little bit. Yes, it's going to be made of nice sort of thick. So these are about 4mm thick, which is obviously a lot thicker than. Oh, I haven't got the other panel. Normally, when I make the panels out of the sprue stuff, I put them on the greaseproof paper, roll them out, so they're like wafer thin, basically about 1-2mm thick. And that's what I did when I built my Orc Stomper. Is rolled out loads and loads of flat panels. And for things like the Orc Stomper, which I'm going to go and get as well. So yeah, so the Orc Stomper, again, made purely out of sprues. So this dude is, as I say, all these panels are sort of like 1-2mm thick, which for a build like this is fine. Again, there's like a structure inside him, like a framework, and that's kind of what I'm going to be building with the Town Manta, but in a different way. So inside him, there's a structure or framework made of just like sprues glued together, and then panels stuck on the outside. So for something this big, he's nice and secure, he's firm, he's fine. But if I was to make something the same way as that, that's basically, it's probably a good 5 or 6 his widths, maybe if not more. The chances are when you go and lift it, say it'll just buckle in the middle. So that's why I can't do what I did for him, for the Town Manta. So instead of using the panels that are say 1-2mm thick, I'm basically getting one of these and then infilling it with sprue goo. So when it dries, it's nice and thick, it's nice and solid. It's almost got, well, it's got like a framework already inside it. It's going to be full of sprue, so it's going to be, say, nice and thick and solid. And then basically I'm going to get the panels, and then they're going to be like glued together to make like boxes. And then the boxes are going to get stuck together. That's going to have more panels on the top. So basically it's going to have a shed load of panels. Which is why some of these panels that are on the inside, as you can quite clearly see, there's lots of little potholes and gaps, and this is generally where the acetone built up, and then once it evaporates, it leaves gaps basically. As a lot of these panels, well, yeah, all the panels I've done so far are going to be inside, and you're not even going to see any of these. It doesn't matter. Any panels that are exterior ones, once the whole thing's built, I'm going to go over everything with some sprue goo and use sprue goo as a filler, because it's a great filler. Fill in all the gaps and then give everything a good old sand in afterwards. But I say, because a lot of these panels are going to be on the inside, it really doesn't matter at all. It's more the fact that these are nice and thick. So it's basically like going out and buying about 4mm, I think it is. It's like going out and buying some 4mm plastic card, except I haven't gone out and bought it. I've got it kind of for free. Obviously you guys are sending in sprues, and obviously the acetone makes quite a lot of these, so it's still cheap even using acetone. So yes, I think I've made about 16 panels so far, which is what I think that might be enough to make the main sort of carcass bit, but then I need more panels to go like on the outside, join it all together and finish it all off. So that's just the centre bit. So if anyone doesn't know, I'm building a towel Manta, and it's basically the spaceship, but obviously it's a lot bigger than this. It's big. So I'm just going to build the centre bit first, which is that bit. So there's the centre bit, that's what I'm building, and that will basically fill my desk. Just that's that one sort of third, so which is again why I'm splitting it into three, because I can't fit it all on my desk, basically. Description: super sexy donut monster. Arthur's got to go with food. Good luck. Oh yeah, it's that one. Duncan demonic. Oh no, I've done that one. Oh yeah, I've done it all, haven't I? Steve, get the wet and dry. 3 different grades. Same Monday. Yeah, cheers, buddy. Hey, no rush, because obviously it's going to be a few weeks before I'm at the standing stage. No, I appreciate that, buddy. Yeah, cheers for that. So yeah, so that's why I'm making loads of panels, because I'm going to make like a box, a box framework basically to go inside the Manta. Just to say, just so you can pick it up and you know it's not going to buckle or bend or break. That's kind of the last thing you want when you spend, I don't know, 60 hours, 80 hours, whatever it will be building it. The last thing you want to do is pick it up to move it and it just falls apart in your hands. It's always, so I love DIY as well, like making things, putting shelves up, building stuff. And whenever I build stuff, I kind of always make things probably stronger and more secure than they need to be, just because I can't help myself. I like things to be built and then last forever. Yeah, this is certainly one of the weirdest things I've made. Just gonna say, when you get that random picture generator, you don't know what you're gonna get. I mean, you might not even get body parts, because there's loads of pictures, and yeah, some of them aren't body parts. Well, like this one had candles. What else did it have? I had one that just said long legs, and obviously another one where, again, I mean, this is like open to interpretation. This has a little bow on the end here. That looks like it's got a bullet hole in it. So I'm seeing this as eggs, but obviously, I mean, this could be scales on the back of something. Well, yeah, it could be almost anything, couldn't it, really? But again, that's the fun of it. You look at it, you interpret it how you want, and then you kind of make what you want, really. So yeah, so once this is done, because even though I'm going to paint it in sort of relatively bright colours, I am going to go over the whole thing with some washes and then maybe a bit of dry brushing. Because as much as I want to use like bright colours on him, I still want him to look a little bit scary. And hopefully the fact he's got all these sharp teeth will help do that. It might be all the purple, not sure. The terrifying carb Taurus. Alright, Joseph. Yeah, whenever he ends up getting called, he's certainly a weird looking thing. But another thing I was going to do as well, because obviously, because I've got the candles going around him at the bottom, I was going to put some sort of like a summoning sort of pattern on the floor, maybe a few like little symbols, just so it looks like he's in a summoning circle, and someone's obviously summoned him. Really. Right, I'm going to have a bit of my cookie and a drink. Susan's just done the random generator, and what have you got? A bee stinger, pointy beard, and a robot claw. Awesome. Well, that's it. So the random generator thing. I mean, you could, in theory, just get like 7 like shoes or boots or feet. So yeah, you really can just get anything. I'm gonna paint the floor. I think I'm just gonna go neutral, like greyish colour for the floor, and then so when I do some like symbols and things on them, I might do them in like a red. Let's give this a shake. I haven't. Just that shiny hats here. Have I tried working with Gundam or 30-minute mission sprues? I've never heard of 30-minute mission sprues. Gundam sprues, I've used them, but not in like a sprue goo. I've cut them up and used them. I used them in my the Necromunda modular sort of thingy because they're great for like pipes and sort of frameworks and bits and pieces. But I've not tried them in acetone. I had thought about trying it, but at the moment I'm sort of need to concentrate on getting the other bits done because I'm not sure if they're going to melt the same. So I think it's a different kind of plastic. I know the outside has got more of a I don't know, it's like a glossy sort of, I don't know how to explain it. And they're both obviously shiny because they're plastic, but the Gundam ones just seem to be extra shiny, and I'm not sure if it's just an outer layer on them or if they are, say, made up of a different kind of plastic. I should try one day, but I haven't at the moment. Susan, and you got feet with, what's that, curvy toenails and some other weird stuff. I look forward to seeing whatever it is you come up with. Obviously, like obviously it's looking forward to seeing everyone's weird and wonderful things. Right, so we'll do a nice, good old basic grey. So this is going to be like a big eyeball. I think we're going to have that. And so at the moment the camera doesn't seem to like the fact that it's all white, so it's kind of like blowing it out. So in a minute I'm going to cut up a load of sprues because I need loads more cut up basically. Don't forget guys, any questions about the sprues or the goo or anything on my channel, by all means ask. I say that's the video that's coming out tomorrow. I say it's kind of like a roundup of everything I've learned and done and tried over the last year with sprues, as well as obviously answering lots of questions that are, well, basically common questions that everyone sort of asks, which understandably, obviously, if you see some of my videos might explain one thing and then a different video explains something different. So the video that's coming out tomorrow hopefully will sort of like explain everything or try and answer sort of every kind of question that might possibly come up. Or if it doesn't, hopefully people will leave comments, questions in the comments, and then I can do another video later on in the year or whenever to answer even more questions. Manarega, sorry I'm late, was doing a final tidy before relax time. Oh, bless. Yes, kids will always keep you on your toes and always keep rooms messy. Well, I've got cookies this time, Mana, so you haven't got to worry about bringing me any food. Not that you worried last time either. Got myself some big cookies. Yeah, so I'm hoping to get obviously all the base colours on today, and then tomorrow do any like any washes, any dry brushing. Just because I've got a wedding on Saturday, and I really want to get this sort of fully complete by Sunday, just so I can then get the pictures off to Miscast, to Trent at Miscast. Is there anything anyone would like me to build for next week? Obviously the Manta that I'm building, because it is obviously a big project, it's going to take me quite a while to make. So alongside making the Manta, obviously I do other projects and other builds. I'm building some D&D sort of scenery, but is there anything else anyone's sort of would like to see me have a go at making? And if there is, then maybe I can have a go at making that for next week. Yes, I had to go today for the first time, having a go at making my own flocking. Obviously, like the old grass. Having to go making it with, what was I using? Sawdust and a what's it called? Coffee, not blender. Yeah, coffee blender. Yeah. So I had to go making some flocking with a coffee blender and some straw, not straw. Wood shavings. Waterworld's tripod. Yeah, can have a go. Yeah, so that's quite fun because basically I've got the coffee grinder. That's it, not blender. Coffee grinder. Put the sawdust in. Poured loads of paint in. Obviously, gave it a good old whizzing round. Did it a few times. Gave it a shake when I'm whizzing it around. And then I got a couple of like sieves, so I can go sieving it. So I've got two boxes. One with some fine grass in it, and one with some like coarser, thicker grass. And it came out really well, really quick as well. So I've seen lots of people having a go doing it, but the coffee grinder was really good because basically, because it obviously helps to mush it up, cut it up, obviously mix it in with the paint. But I think because I don't know, it heats it up or it gets hot. So when you pour the stuff out, it's like nice and dry. Because I've seen a lot of people do their own flocking, and obviously you get the sawdust, you put it for the sieve, they pour paint in it, get their hands in there and give it a good old mushing up, and then they normally stick it on a tray, stick it in the oven, or stick it outside. Well, obviously it's not worth sticking it outside now because it's cold outside. But yes, I had to go putting it in the coffee grinder, just as a way to like break up the sawdust as well, to like try and make it finer. Yeah, it worked really well. And so when you pour it out, it came out and it was nice and dry, which is awesome. Rick is here. Woo! All right, Rick. Hope you're well. Yeah, donuts with tentacles. Shiny Hatsayer. Do a towel orc and a 30-minute missions kit bash Titan. Oh blimey! Yeah, I'm thinking something small. I've already got a big build, so whatever I do, there'll be smaller little builds, basically. Combatant, afternoon. Hope you're well. Yeah. Yeah, so definitely, I'm thinking definitely a smaller build if I'm doing something for next week. So that's a bit of cookie. Yeah, I can only do like one big build at a time. Yeah, so we got using this one. Phone's still on. So I'm just going to check a couple of messages that have just come through. There could be more people wanting to send me sprues. Because I've had a few more questions today. Oh look, there, and there's one now from Arfman. You've got a bulging box apparently, Arfman. Yes, I would love to have your bulging box. Sounds so rude, but so true. I will send you my address momentarily. I think Shiny Hatsia, I think some of your suggestions are a bit too complicated for me to make within 1 week. They sound good, but yeah, a bit tricky. So these are really cool. These are cheap paints off Amazon, but obviously a nice big size. So as much as I love using the army paints and all them other ones, when I'm painting obviously a larger item, especially when it's just like an undercoat sort of colour on there, so I'm going to do washes and stuff over the top. These are pretty cool just for like getting loads of paint on. Although normally, obviously, I would paint a little bit and then leave it to dry and then do another bit. But I kind of just want to get all the paint on now and then say let it dry, and then I can go over and do some like tidying up and washes and stuff tomorrow. Just want to get a bit more paint on it, and then I'm going to cut up some sprues basically. Susan, you like the vid, and cheerio, you got to catch a bus. Well, have fun with your drawing. Hope it goes well, and obviously it's fun, basically. Thanks for being here. So say I am just basically chucking some colours on now, just to get like base colours on, just so that it can dry, and then tomorrow I can do some washes and some obviously tidying it up and a bit of dry brushing. Yeah, so anyone's just joined, obviously this is all made from sprues, every little bit of it. Yeah, from the base to the tentacles to the donut to the little candles. And the video will be out later this month to coincide with all the other ones for the Monster Bash 3 on October the, I don't know, I think it's 31st, I think. I'm going to do another little shameless plug of, well, I'll let a few bits dry, of my dice tray. So this is made by a company called Easy Roller Dice. There's a link in the description. I think it's $22 or $21.95. But there's a link, a code you can use, and you get 15% off. So if you want to have a dice tray with my face on to roll your dice on, yeah, go check out the link in the description. And so they have said that if these do sort of sell, then they're going to make me some dice with my logo on, which is pretty cool. Right, we'll let that dry for a little bit. I might cut some sprues up while I'm waiting. Right. Yeah, so if anyone who was here a few days ago, this box, I'll get these out of the way. This box was sort of was full to the top with well, nibbly knobbly bits, as in like full to the top. And basically they filled up the jars. Obviously I used the jars and then filled them up again, just because I need to make a lot of panels. Right, this is where I'm running out of stuff again. Running out of room. Still got the Orc Stomper up here, and say this dude here, he kind of takes up, well, a lot of my other desk. So let's put him on the floor. And we can move this thing out of the way. And yeah, so for the towel manta, if people don't know, I'm making up obviously a nice big sort of box framework to go on the inside of it, just so it's nice and strong. And I'm making lots of like frames like this. So basically it's taking one of the sprues, filling it in with the ooey gooey stuff, obviously letting it dry, and then it's a nice sort of thick panel. I am obviously putting these under books to try and make them flatten them out, because when they dry flat, but then after like the next day or so they do start to curl a little bit, and obviously I don't really want them curling too much. Although when I come to glue them together, that will obviously help them keep, well, I'm hoping it will, that will help them keep their flatness, because obviously the other one will be butted up there, it'll be glued. Plus when I glue it, I'm also going to use the ooey gooey stuff as a bit of a glue and a filler. So each box is going to be nicely sort of full and sealed, because once that dries, obviously that'll dry nice and obviously, well, back to plastic. So it'll dry nice and hard, and then it's a case of then getting the boxes and gluing the boxes to each other. So this is why this is going to use up a lot of sprues. Obviously it's a big thing, but purely because I want to make this so it is very strong. It's obviously going to add a lot of weight to the thing, but that's fine, because I know the real one. I did have it written down somewhere how much the real one weighs, and apparently it is quite a hefty weight to it. So this is going to have quite a lot of weight to it because of all the sprues in the boxes and obviously all that framework. But obviously to get to this, I need to have obviously a load of ooey gooey stuff, which I've got quite a lot in there. I think that makes about 4 panels I can get out of one sort of amount like that. But say this was absolutely full, and then I filled a couple of jars and a bit more. So I need to fill this up. And again, this is where making things with sprues, it is very time consuming and quite a slow process. It's fun to do because it's fun to see what you can be made from sprues. But there are obviously a lot easier ways of making, well, anything really, other than using sprues. But if you've got time on your hands, then if you've got loads of sprues, you may as well use the sprues, because obviously it doesn't cost you anything. It's a very cheap resource then if you do have a lot of it. And obviously I'm very fortunate that you lovely guys are sending me loads, which is really cool. So So again, with these, obviously when you see me do some bits and pieces, especially the longer lengths I keep, I cut off all the like the nibbly knobbly bits. Hence the reason my little thing here says I love nibbly knobbly bits, because it's kind of a term that I say quite a lot when I'm dealing with sprues. So they obviously all go in here, but you can see that there are quite a lot of like all these like little bits. These are the real nibbly knobbly bits. Obviously all these little bits, so they all get kept. But when you cut these up to turn them into the ooey gooey stuff, you don't need to cut these up small. I basically cut these up the same sort of size, or obviously a bit smaller than whatever size lid that I've got. Because obviously the idea is you cut them up so they fit inside. So that's why these can be cut up relatively large. Especially if you've got obviously a nice large jar like I have, then yeah, you haven't got to cut them up small, which is cool, good. Obviously when they're cut up smaller, they will dissolve quicker. But generally, it's like now, I would normally cut loads up in the evening, put them in the jar. Obviously that jar's full, so I'm not going to do that. Put them in a jar overnight, and then come the morning, yeah, they're good to go. I mean, my usual time, I always say, is about 7 to 8 hours is enough to turn sprues into goo. But I say I generally do it overnight, so it obviously gets longer, which is cool. Yeah, cool. Awesome. Yeah, so if you're asking me a question, if you put @miniature hobbyist in the comment, it just highlights it in orange. Because obviously you guys are having a good old chat, which is awesome. And I say it just saves me trying to read every bit of chat if it's not sort of directed at me, basically. Yeah, the video will be out tomorrow. Again, it's going to be lots of ideas for sprues, how to turn sprues into obviously goo, how long the sprue sort of stuff lasts, how long the acetone lasts, the fact that I just obviously keep topping it up, how to make panels. So basically it's going to show how to make like flat panels as well as obviously like corrugated panels. So that's obviously a rolled out sprue, and then obviously it's put into a mould to make it look like it's corrugated. The fact that you can use green stuff rollers on it, I don't know how well you can see that, but obviously that's like a brick pattern, and obviously it's got the sort of pattern on it. So yeah, so the sprue goo, you can turn it into flat panels, which can then be, you can put any kind of like roller on it to imprint it. As well as if you've got sort of like simple moulds, you can put sprue goo in a simple mould, and in this case you can obviously make like a tyre. So that's basically going to be in the video that's tomorrow, as well as other bits and pieces. And I say there'll be lots of like question answering as well. Oh, pardon me, because there has been quite a lot of new subscribers in the last few weeks, and I say they seem to have, most of them have come from sprue related videos. So it's just a good way of letting everyone know, well, everything that I've been doing really for the last year or so with sprues. Yeah, so you can now see why it's quite a slow process to make things with sprues and sprue goo. I say because I need to basically fill this right to the top, and then I know that will get used in the next few days making panels. But I say it's a big bit of satisfaction making things out of sprues, and then once you've made it, and the fact it has been made out of sprues, it's like, yeah, it was worth the time put in, basically. Plus, I kind of enjoy it as well. So I could quite easily sit and do this while normally I do it when I'm watching a TV, watching Netflix or a movie or something. So obviously that makes the time go a lot quicker and a lot easier, basically. Space Gecko, what's in the making today? Well, I'd say the two main builds that I've got going on at the moment are the Tau Manta, which is why I'm cutting up loads of sprues to turn it into some nice thick panels to build that with. And obviously the other little thing is my Monster Bash creation, which I've just sort of started painting, which is basically a donut with some thin long legs in some kinky boots, a long tentacle arm, and it's feeding itself some eyeballs. So typical kind of thing, really. A bit of spamming going on there. Didn't delete them. I put them in a timeout. Well, I'm surprised old Streamlabs hasn't sort of kicked in. God, that timeout didn't last long, did it? I need a grinder to mash them up. I have put sprues in a grinder before when I was doing bricks. Basically cutting these up into small little sections and then stick them in the grinder, and it just sort of took off the edge of them. And yeah, they work really well. Right, not too sure. Yeah, I just did. But cheers. Well, I don't know if I got rid of him. I think I've just hidden him, basically. So, oh, maybe I haven't hidden him. Man, how did I not hide him? I don't know. Yes, I thought I hid him. I don't know. Yeah, you can have a go if you want as well, Steve. Yeah, guess what I tried to do, but it didn't seem to hide him very well, did it? He's obviously very good at hide and seek. No, he hasn't. So where's Streamlabs when you need him as well? Normally Streamlabs just sort of jumps in. Yeah, I don't think the hiding or timeout seems to work very well, does it? Yeah, I'm not sure where it is either. You say, because obviously the hidden bit doesn't seem to do a whole lot. Oh, let's go into Streamlabs itself. Well, obviously he's learned how to copy and paste, so good for you, Harvey. Man, I can't even open up Streamlabs. Put on some nerdy music. Well, I am playing nerdy music. I'm playing medieval tavern music. Doesn't get any more nerdy than that, I guess. But yeah, I can't seem to find out why. Oh, Harvey was on one of yours as well, Lazarus. So I don't feel very special now that if he does it everywhere. I thought it was just me he did it. But so for some reason, I can't even get into my Streamlabs. So maybe in Streamlabs, as in like go into the website, you can type people's names in there. That's why I was trying it a different thing. Yeah, I think my stream bot doesn't seem to be working or kicking in, because normally that kicks in and works really well. But no, I can't seem to find where this thing, because normally you go in Streamlabs and obviously it's got a list of any names you want to put in there, but I can't seem to find it. Oh well. Right, I'm going to get back to a bit of this then. As I say, Streamlabs seems to have gone on holiday. Well, the thing is though, back in the early 80s when I used to play D&D, obviously anyone who played D&D was a nerd. So there we go. Well, I don't think it is now, though, is it? I think D&D is kind of like a bit more of a, well, a popular game. How do we... I can't say your name, the chap from Russia. Yeah, it's not very interesting. Yeah, I really can't seem to find this thing in Streamlabs. It's probably because we've never had this kind of problem before, so I've never had to sort of find the thing. But yeah, it's a shame the old Streamlabs bot thing isn't kicking in like it normally does. Oh, now Streamlabs is coming on. Oh well, simple people with simple minds, I guess. Yeah, he's gonna have to do what he's doing. I don't know what he's doing. Can't ring me on Messenger. Well, say the weird thing is in my what is it? The settings to say who's been banned. Somehow I don't know how, but it's got Harvey Price has been banned about 10 times. So I'm not too sure. Well, I'm not too sure what he's doing really. It's like somehow he's set up so there's like multiple accounts. Yeah, Kondiyama, any questions you've got at all, mate, just ask away and I will answer any questions. So there is a video coming out tomorrow which will say and show basically all the kind of things that can be done with sprues, basically. Yeah, Steve, say it. I don't know what else I can do. It's put him in the blocked list. So I don't quite know how he's still doing it if he's in the blocked list. It's very bizarre. Hiya, Aisha. Hope you're well. As you can see, I've got the fun job of cutting some sprues up. Just getting them ready to be turned into sprue goo for tomorrow, really. So I've still got, obviously, a nice big jar. But I've already made quite a lot of panels today. I don't really want to go through and make loads more panels. So I'm just having a break and I'm just cutting up nibbly knobbly bits that are just flying all over the place. We have got a bit of a knob on the channel, I'm afraid. Yeah. So it's not a bad game. I've been doing this for about a year and a bit. This is the first time we've had someone like this. But hey ho, still, say anyone got any questions? Normal, I will answer them. Well, you can tell someone has too much time on their hands, and they can make multiple accounts. It's probably because he hasn't got any friends, so he kind of talks to himself, I'm guessing. Well, yeah, why isn't Streamlabs kicking in? Normally Streamlabs kicks in if you say something that isn't a swear word. Oh, I've lost it now. Where'd it go? No, not that one. Is it that one? Right, hopefully Streamlabs is now on the job. So it's been such a long time since I've had to get using Streamlabs. Right. Let's see what his next name is on his other accounts. Because by the seems of it, he does have quite a lot of accounts, this person. I say, I'm sure he possibly uses them to talk to himself. I like using Sculpey. Quite a cool thing to use that. So how many of you guys that are on tonight will be able to be on tomorrow? So I'm probably going to do another stream tomorrow, and so depending on how these panels have turned out, I might start with the start doing the framework for the Tower Manta. So yeah, so how many of you guys will be on tomorrow night if I do a live stream again between 6 and 8, and then we'll go straight into the video, the premiere of the video about, well, sprues and goo and all the other stuff. Oh wow, he's got some original names, this dude, isn't he, eh? Not. Yeah, so I think Streamlabs is sort of kicking in a little bit now. So yeah, every time he comes on with one of his little aliases, which I say, I think his names are a little bit pants though, aren't they? They're not exactly original. But then again, from the way he's just spamming, you kind of think he's not going to be original. Yeah, the Manta project, to say at the moment, obviously that's why I'm cutting up loads of these. So basically all these ones I'm cutting up, these are all going to be turned into sprue goo to go towards making panels and all the rest of it. I think I made about 16 panels so far. So we've got about 16 of these, and I reckon for the main sort of the centre part that I'm going to be building first. So for this bit, well basically it's this section I'm going to be dealing with first, because obviously the front bit kind of like curves up. So I'm going to be doing this sort of rectangle bit here, which is obviously this bit, and I reckon it's going to be maybe four boxes, and I'm going to need what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, kind of 6 of these to make one box, and I reckon it's going to be 4 of them boxes stuck together, and that's going to form the main sort of part of this. And then obviously I have to add on all the extra little bits and make lots of other bits. So it literally is, all I'm really working on at the moment is just getting those boxes done, so I can then glue all the boxes together. So I've then got like a carcass that I can then add bits onto, basically. So say it's going to take a while. But say I don't mind, because obviously it's fun. I'm enjoying it. And I say the fact this is going to be something bigger than I've made before, and so I'm making it in a different way that I've made things before. And that's something I always like doing. I always like it when I have to make something in a completely different way, because obviously then I'm trying out different things, and it's good to see what else kind of works. So if you've seen one of my first builds, where did I put it? Right, go show you the first build I did. So obviously before I started, making the ooey gooey stuff, obviously I made this. But with this, it was a case of getting all the sprues and basically just sort of like really sanding them down and then gluing them together. So this took a real long time. If I'd made this the way I make the panels, I would have made this in about half the time that I did. Because basically, so these are all in the tank tread things. It's just all sprues cut up, sanded down, and then glued together. And that's why some of these you can't even see gaps in between. So I basically sanded down every single sprue, and that just took forever to do that. So yeah, so that's why this is one of the first things I've built that say is just sprues stuck together. It's got rather dusty now. So yeah, so this is one of the first things I did, and then I kind of stumbled across the sprue goo. Well, I actually did the sprue goo at the end of this build, because at the end of this build I was doing the tyres, and yeah, they were obviously made from sprues. Sprue goo in my little silicone moulds. So they were the first things I made, and when I made them, so because I made them at the end, that's when I then realised that I could have a go at making panels. And that's when obviously making panels makes things a whole lot easier. Because then when you make panels, you can make something obviously this sort of size. So again, it's kind of like a progression. So I've gone from getting the sprues, sticking them all together, to then making panels, which is obviously how I made this and the Gorkanal, to now making obviously much bigger, thicker, solid panels. That's obviously going to make the Manta, because like the Manta is just, it's just huge. I mean the Manta you could fit, well, you could fit quite a lot of these on the inside basically. So yes, I say it's kind of like a progression on what can be done with sprues, and obviously how I use sprues. But obviously that progression only really comes by doing different kind of things. So if I wasn't making something so big, then I would have never thought about making panels like this, say nice thick strong panels, which this is going to be. So yes, it's nice to try new things out basically. And then I've kind of used up all the sprues I had. Let's get some more. Right, so what I'm trying to do is obviously any sprues that are sort of normal, I'm keeping them to one side. So I'm only using ones that are sort of like already half sort of cut up basically. So that's why, guys, when you do send sprues in, I don't mind if you send, I mean, you can send me a box of sprues in like that. That's perfectly fine, so I can still use them. And if anything, it'll be cheaper for you because you get them in a smaller box. But I know I've had some boxes turn up and they've been immaculately packed with like loads of sprues, but they've really been put in to get the most in there. And it's like, whoa, it's quite impressive on how well they've been packed, basically. So you do get some weird colours. This is also like a bluey greeny one. So say when you melt this down or dissolve this in the sprues, the colour of the acetone will go a really weird colour. Right, let's get some more. Knob jockey's still here. Just leave him to his own device, guys. Streamlab will just keep deleting them, I guess. It's obviously the only kind of attention the dude gets. So this is where we need some hackers out there. They can just find out his IP address and just block that. Yes, I'm surprised these cutters have lasted so well. I don't know if you guys were here a few days ago on a stream that I was mentioning, I've had three pairs of cutters. The first pair I think lasted about a month, maybe 2 months. Second pair I think they lasted about 2 weeks, and these are still going strong after about 8 months. And bear in mind that obviously I cut up quite a lot of sprues, but obviously not just that, I cut up obviously the thick part of the sprues. So these have done really well to put up with that kind of abuse, really. So I think the worst ones to get, because you get some, and they've got that sort of like spring bit on the back, and that's the ones I had that basically the spring broke really quick. Whereas this, because it's got the little bits of metal at the bottom, there's obviously a lot less pressure to sort of break it, and the actual cutting bit, say, is really good. So these are army painter ones, even though obviously the army painter bit's rubbed off, basically. Oh, yeah, they do sort of fly off every now and then. Well, I'm still waiting for the dude to come on with an original name. as opposed to all these ones that are sort of very old and already sort of done by loads of other people. But oh well. So sometimes you just can't stop kids. Well, twats. Anyway, let's not talk about him because it only feeds the fire. So is anyone out there actually doing any kind of sprue build at the moment? Or is it just me? So I know a lot of guys, obviously, the guys that are sending me all the sprues, and ladies, are all saying that they love the sprue builds. They want to do some sprue builds. They just don't have the time to do sprue builds, which is why they're sending me their sprues, which I say is good news for me, obviously. But yeah, is there anyone out there that is doing any sort of sprue builds, whether it's big builds, little builds, just building walls, building frames, any kind of terrain? Has anyone done the like the modular sort of terrain I did for the Necromunda? Not Necromunda. Yeah, Necromunda. Yeah, any of you guys doing anything with sprues, basically, is what I'm kind of getting at. Cheers, Manta. Yeah, so I think it is that case of we just ignore because it's just feeding now. But yeah, so I'd like to know if any of you guys are doing stuff. So I know a lot of you guys do. Say, I've got Discord. Do I still got the link in for Discord? I know I have to apologise that I really don't go on Discord. I think I kind of go on there once every 3 weeks, 4 weeks maybe. It's mainly because I just haven't got the time. Because obviously with making stuff, obviously the photography. Is it there? Oh yeah. The Discord. The Discord is there, guys. If you join that, obviously people go there. They show what they're making, what they're building, and I have been on there before and seen quite a lot of sprue builds. There's another guy on there that makes some big things out of sprues. I don't think he uses the sprue goo, but he does do a lot with obviously getting the sprues, cutting all the nibbly knobbly bits off, sanding them down, making them nice and smooth, and then obviously gluing them together. And he's done quite a lot of big builds that sort of way, and which are pretty cool. Lazarus has got 12,000 points of Space Marines to paint. Blimey. That must take up a fair amount of room. William builds power line towers. Yeah, and radio masts. Well, that's it. So I think the best thing from sprues is building like frames. And obviously, yeah, tower mast is probably a perfect kind of thing to build. Because that's the kind of thing I first started building with them was, well, sort of frameworks really. But I think that's kind of why obviously these build well or go well to building bigger items. The fact that you can build a framework and then build around the framework. So it's cut off the nibbly knobbly bit. So it's really weird to say, but I am down to my last box of sprues. Albeit it is still a large box of sprues. But yeah, so the other box went quite quick making all these panels. So all that is, that's not it's not Warhammer and it's not Gundam. Something in between, I guess. Yes, I'm trying to get down to the bottom of the box because at the bottom of the box is where obviously all the smaller bits go. Because I don't want to start cutting up sort of full frame bits at the moment. Because these full frame ones are obviously what I'm using to make my my big panels. So that's a case of digging deep, but obviously they are kind of bits are all stuck together, kind of, well, entangled together, not exactly stuck, obviously. Having a nappy change, yeah, maybe. So say I'm hoping, say that the panels are ready for me to sort of start putting together. Just because it will be quite cool to actually start making making the framework for the big beastie. So Dominic Sadler is melting plastic as we speak for your first attempt. Oh, Dominic, was it you that was asking about the colour of the acetone, and is it sort of still reusable and good to go? And obviously, if it is, then yeah, it is. Yeah. So the acetone, say, I mean, as soon, I mean, this is the second load of sprues I put in this one. And even when you put the first load of sprues in, the colour will go like a kind of a greenish colour. But obviously I have got some like blue sprues and red sprues. When they go into this, so the colour of that will go more of a browny, murky sort of colour. It doesn't really seem to matter what the colour goes, to be honest. Again, when you take that's so basically I filled that half full. Obviously then put loads of sprues in. When I take the sprues out, obviously that level is going to go lower than half because obviously the goo still contains some of the acetone. So that's why you basically just keep topping it up. So even though it goes a dark colour, because you keep topping it up, it won't, well, it shouldn't go really any darker than that, unless, I say, you mix in different colours like the blue and the red, and then it will go a brown kind of murky colour. How heavy do I think the Manta will end up? I really don't know. Yeah, it's hard to say because obviously that doesn't have obviously a lot of weight, but then when you get like say 20 of those and that's just the centre bit, I mean I can only hazard a guess at how many panels I'm going to use on this, and I'm going to chuck out the number 80, maybe 80 panels to make this thing. And I say it doesn't weigh a whole lot, but 80 of these, it will start weighing a lot. Plus, it'll be 80 of these. And I say, obviously, if you look at this, oh, my screen's, why is it going a bit slow? Is it back? No, it's still going slow. I'm not sure why that's going slow. Is it going slow on your screen, guys? It seems to have gone slow on my Streamlabs thing. So if my phone's having problems. But yeah, as obviously you can see in this is very potholey. Again, I've not even tried to make these nice and smooth because there's no need, because these ones are going to be inside. The ones that are on the outside, I will try to make them smoother. Basically what it is a case of is when you push the stuff down on this side, leave it for an hour or so, and then push down again. Because some of these gaps are where the acetone disappeared, and some gaps are where the goo just wasn't like pushed down, basically. But yeah, so this is where the extra weight's going to come in. So obviously, the weight of all of these panels, plus when it is done, I'm then going to go in and fill these gaps in with more sprue goo, basically, just to fill all the gaps in. And then once that's done, then give it a good old sanding down afterwards, basically. So it was going slow. Yeah, I thought it was. Say, I don't know why, because normally the Streamlabs screen that I can see doesn't normally go slow. Even if it goes slow on your screen, it won't go slow on that one, but it was. But I think it might be the camera. I'm not too sure. But yeah, so with that extra layer of sprue goo over the whole thing, and obviously the whole thing's huge, that's going to add more weight. But once I make that centre bit, I will certainly weigh that and see what that's sort of coming in at, because I'm sure that's going to be relatively heavy. But so yeah, I think the real ones pretty heavy. But say, I'd rather it was heavy and strong than lightweight and flimsy, wibbly wobbly. Because yeah, no one wants it to be wibbly wobbly. Yeah, Streamlabs is certainly earning its money tonight. Normally it sleeps all day, comes on normally just before I'm about to finish the stream to say something. And then, yeah, that's kind of all you see out of Streamlabs. So what do you reckon, guys? Is this kind of on par with Bill making stuff, sorting his beads out? Because I mean, that's what someone said the other day, wasn't it, when I was cutting up some nibbly knobbly bits? It's along the lines of, yeah, Bill making stuff and his bead sorting. Although that might be a bit better, at least the beads look a bit prettier than cutting up bits of sprue, I guess. But again, just a necessity to get these cut up, so these can then be turned into something, to get turned into something else. Yeah, I need to have a good old look through Streamlabs, just so that obviously when that kind of thing happens, rather than just timing out or deleting a text, it does sort of put them straight into a ban, basically, is kind of what we want, I guess. But I say, I've never really had to sort of set it up to do that. But obviously maybe I need to look into it. Oh, have I missed a question? So who was that? Usul. Oh, I can't see his message. Well, it's funny because obviously, yeah, the messages have been flying around because obviously someone else. Sorry, what question did Usul have? Because I've clearly not seen it. So now IP3D, that would be quite original. That's quite a cool one, but all the other ones he was using weren't really original. What am I building currently? Let's say it's it's out of sprues. There's two things. One is the Tau Manta. If you don't know what that is, like I didn't know what that was when I said I was going to build it. It's a huge spaceship. When I mean huge, it's probably about 3 to 4 feet tip to tip, and at least about 2 feet front to back. So it's quite big. It's a lot bigger than I thought it was when I saw it in the picture. I say the only time I kind of like appreciated the size of it was when I saw someone holding one, and then it was like, oh yeah, that's not going to fit on my desk. That's definitely a build it in 3 parts job. So I'm basically going to concentrate on the centre part first, and then I'm going to build left wing, right wing, and then basically assemble everything. But yeah, it's a whopper. So I'm working on that. I'm also working on my little creation for the Monster Bash that Miscast does. So yeah, Trent at Miscast, go and have a look at his channel if you don't know already, and have a look at his random monster generator. Basically, it's open to everyone, so everyone can have a go at doing it. And yeah, basically sort of see what bits you get, see what you can make, and you can make it out whatever you want. Obviously, I'm making mine out of sprues just because. So I'm working on them, and I'm also working on some D&D stuff. I've made some dungeon floor tiles, but now I'm making like a big scenery set sort of thing. It's the first time I've done something sort of large, and yeah, it's gonna be like an outdoor set. I've just made my own flocking today. Basically sawdust, coffee grinder, and some green paint. So I've got that. Yeah, there's something else I'm working on. I can't remember what else I'm working on. I'm not sure. Well, I've got loads of D&D figures that I've printed, as in 3D printed. I need to paint them, which I'll be doing very soon, because Army Painter, the lovely people there, have sent me loads of Dungeons & Dragons paint. Obviously, it's a D&D Army Painter range. So loads of great paint to obviously paint all my minifigures with. So that will be another sort of video live stream kind of thing. So yeah, there's a few projects on the go at once. I do like to have a good few things going. Andre, Yusuf asked, have I broken a nipper while cutting sprues? As in, have I broke these? Yeah, that's what I was saying. This is my 3rd pair. My first ones, I don't think they were a named sort of brand or whatever. My first pair lasted me a couple of months. My second pair only lasted about 2-3 weeks, and they were pretty cheap. But they had like a spring at the back. Basically, the spring just snapped. These ones are from Army Painter, so you can't tell because the name's rubbed off because obviously I use them so much. These are from Army Painter, and I've had these and been using these for about 8 months. So without a shadow of a doubt, these are the best. I think these were about £12. I think the first pair I bought, I think they were 12 or more. The second pair I bought, the cheap ones, they were about £4. And they were very similar to these. These ones came free with me Anycubic 3D printer. So these came free with that. But the ones that broke, so these were very similar to the ones that broke. But the ones that broke had, like, say, a spring at the back, which obviously keeps them open. So I mean, you can still use them, but you'd have to physically like open and shut, which is a pain because I did have a go doing that for a bit. But yeah, Army Painter, these seem to be the best because they've lasted so long, basically. Blah Farkleface. See, now there's a cool name. Yeah, I love that name, Blah Farkleface. Does anyone know Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Was there a character in there? Or is Blah Farkleface from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Because for some reason they seem to... It reminds me of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Blah Farkle. I don't know. Has anyone read or seen or watched Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? It's one of the few books I've actually read. I don't read much, and this would have been me reading this cool, I don't know, late 80s, early 90s maybe. But yeah, if anyone can confirm that, I might type it in. Blah Farkle face seems to remind me of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Yeah. When's it Halloween? Well, it's the end of the month. So I'm guessing the 31st? Lazarus, slightly Blartfast. Ah, pretty close though, aren't they? Yeah, I love that. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Love the books, love the TV series. And there was a film as well, wasn't there? Yeah, I enjoyed the film as well. You made the word up when you was 10. Ah, cool. So what was the game again? Slarty Blartfast. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, again, there's certain things and certain names of things that obviously remind me of being younger. Slightly Blartfast. Awesome. So, Mana Rega, are you into that as well, are you? So again, some of these sprues, well, it says Games Workshop, 2004. This one doesn't feel the same. We'll chuck it in. It's the worst that can happen. Intergalactic Gargle Blaster. Yeah. Restaurant at the End of the Universe. Yeah. Yeah, and the other one. Is it So Long, Thanks for All the Fish or something, wasn't it? The last one. Yeah, October 31st. Halloween. Oh, feels like cutting up's never ending, but at least I've got a nice good pile in here, which is pretty cool. Obviously, it won't last 2 seconds, but it's a start. I say, I reckon a few more panels, and I should have enough to at least start the build of this thing. Just because obviously at the moment I keep talking about it, but obviously there's nothing to really show. Well, there's nothing to show. I mean, other than 16 of these, which isn't really a lot to sort of show. But yeah, so it's definitely going to be a nice sort of solid interior box frame for the Tower Manta. You bought the book of the film. Turns out that's half the original first book. Yeah, so I don't normally read. I'm not really into books. I've always been more of a visual kind of person, which is why obviously I'm a photographer. I used to be a graphic designer. Like drawing. So yeah, so reading was never a big thing for me, obviously. But when I did read, I'd imagine the story in my head. And yeah, the Hitchhiker's Guide was one of those ones that I kind of got into. Yeah, so all I'm doing at the moment is I've got a big box beside me. It's basically, when I say big box, it is a big box. It's the box that my 3D printer came in. And I'm just trying to dig down deep to say pull out all the ones that are kind of half broke anyway. Just because I don't want to cut these kind of ones up yet. Obviously I will eventually have to cut these ones up. But at the moment I'd rather keep these ones intact. Just because I'm using these to make the panels. So yeah, I want to keep them as they are basically. Yes, don't forget guys, anyone new here that has just sort of joined my sort of channel, oh pardon me, if you are into sort of sprue builds or you came here because of a sprue build, I do have a playlist on lots of builds with sprues, ranging from obviously large items like the Stomper, the Morkanaut or Gorkanaut, and the Orc tank thingy. Plus I've also got loads of smaller builds. as in like quick little builds, ranging from like fireplaces, candles. I made dynamite, little sticks of dynamite out of sprues. Obviously general frameworks. Yeah, bits of all sorts really. And obviously one of my favourite things that I kind of use, not quite on a daily basis, but certainly something that I actually use quite a lot of, is this little fella. And for anyone who hasn't seen this before or knows what this is a very valuable thing because it helps keep your desk tidy. As in, you get your little Citadel paints, especially the contrast ones or any ones that are really wet and watery. And you can open the lid up, slot the lid in the back, stick the thing in there, and there you go. You have got one little paint pot holder, and obviously the paint won't fall over, basically. So it doesn't fall over, and the lid stays intact. Very simple, very easy, basic thing to make. One of the first things I made, only because I joined quite a few Facebook pages to do Warhammer, like painting that is anyway. And quite often, I mean, like every week, someone was posting a picture of their spillage where they'd knocked over their thingy, either on the desk or on the floor. And that's when I made this thing up. So I didn't even bother painting it, just made it up. And yeah, this is something I actually use quite often. And obviously simple to make. And again, I think this is kind of what got me into building like frames as well. So yeah, obviously you don't really need to watch a video to sort of know how to make this, but there is a video showing how I made this. And obviously loads of other things. So yeah, if you ever get bored, or you're sitting at home, you're making something, you're doing something, you're painting, or you're watching paint dry, stick on one of my playlists and just let the sucker run. Just let it run and run and run. There's quite a few hours on the, well, I've got several playlists. The Sprue one's definitely got quite a lot of hours on it. Obviously the live stream playlist, considering each video is about 2-3 hours, there's a lot obviously there. But yeah, just sticking on one of the live streams, or one of the playlists, really helps the channel out. Funny enough, I haven't even looked or asked if you've all clicked the old like button on this video. Again, just because it shows YouTube there's interaction, and YouTube, oh, there you have, and YouTube likes it. But yeah. Yeah, Lazarus, yeah, it's a great 4-book trilogy, yeah. Yeah, it's just a fun thing. Yeah, Andre, you don't mind movies but prefer books. Well, it is, I must admit, the few books that I have read that I've then seen as movies, there's a lot more information in a book, plus quite often it'll obviously explain the surroundings, but it also sort of goes into saying how someone feels or how they think. And sometimes obviously that doesn't come across in a book. And like you're saying, sometimes you get a book and the film will only show half of it. There'll be loads in that book that you don't even get to see. Just because obviously it'll probably be like a 4 or 5 hour movie. Which I think in some cases I'd happily go and see, like Lord of the Rings. Anything sort of fantasy, medieval, knights, dragons, all that kind of stuff, I could easily watch a 5-6 hour movie of that kind of thing, just because you get so engrossed in it. And obviously I love dungeons, dragons, knights, shining armour, all that kind of thing. The dynamite sticks were fun to build. Did you ever go building some? Again, I mean, it's just because they're small, they're cute, and it's something you can make nice and easy, basically. And well, obviously the dynamite was obviously candles, wasn't it? I made some candles, and then I thought, oh, stick 3 of these together, paint them red, and then yeah, you got yourself some dynamite. Yeah, see, Discworld, I've not read any of them books, but I've seen a couple of, it's Terry Pratchett, isn't it, Discworld? But I've seen a couple of their movies, and I really like them. Should really have a go at reading the books. Because like I say, there's so much more information in the books. Right, what is it? Oh, just gone 8. I was going to stop at 8, but I'm quite happy doing this. If you guys are quite happy sitting there watching me do this. again, not the most exciting thing to do, but at least I can be here. I can chat to you. Got any questions? I can answer questions. Yeah, and I think because a lot of the live streams I do, they're not the kind of thing people are then going to go on and watch all the way through. Obviously, if you guys stick it on and then walk out the room and just have it in the background, awesome. But yeah, it's not the kind of thing people are just going to like pop on. I mean, obviously, live streams are best when obviously you're there like you are now, and then obviously you can interact and ask me questions and all that kind of stuff. Lazarus, speaking of D&D, you're filling out a sheet for a friend on Roll20. Cool. Well, I might actually have 2 different groups to play with, both near me. And the funny thing is obviously I live in a block of flats, and obviously I was thinking about obviously getting back into D&D about a month or so ago, and there's a couple opposite me, and they're quite young, and they seem the kind of people that would possibly play D&D. So about a month or so ago, I'd considered, because obviously I don't really sort of see them that often, because obviously like ships in the night, you sort of miss each other when you're going to work or going out. So I had considered putting a little note under their door, just sort of saying, hi, it's John from my number. Don't suppose you guys play D&D? If you do, did you fancy having a game? That's what I was going to do. Didn't do it. But then about a week ago, just bumped into my neighbour outside. I was coming back. I think they were going out. Just chatting away. And then they went and said, oh yeah, we've got some friends coming over today. We're playing D&D. And it's like, you're kidding me. Unfortunately, I couldn't join in. Well, plus, obviously, a bit rude to invite yourself. But yeah, I'm going to be playing D&D with my neighbours. And get this, one of their friends watches this channel and is a subscriber, and he plays D&D with my neighbours, and it's like, yeah, small world. So yeah, hopefully we're gonna sort out a game with them. But there's also someone else near where I live who's getting a game together, so hopefully I'm gonna be joining them as well, which will be pretty awesome. So I could be going from having no one to play with to having 2 groups to play with, which would be awesome. So yeah, pretty excited. Steve used to be an elf magic user back in '86. I mean, that's when I stopped. I started playing in 1983. I played D&D when I was at school. I think I played 83, 84 at school, and then I played 85, 86. My first job, and yeah, that's when I played AD&D. And I think one of my main characters was a cleric, and they were called Bo Devil. Just because obviously like Bo Derek, so mine was called Bo Devil. Aisha's doing some diamond art. Cool. How did the possessed pastry turn out? Yeah, I kind of started painting it, and then I kind of stopped, and then I started cutting bits up, and I carried on cutting bits up. So yeah, I didn't really sort of paint a whole lot really. Yeah, I think so I started, but I think what it is I want to get this done, because obviously this takes a while. And I think rather than doing it just sitting here on my Todd, it was more fun sitting cutting bits up with you guys, to be honest. Right, my music stopped. Let's click on that, so that carries on again. And there we go. And so some sprues, I'm not 100% sure. Oh, it is games. It's just a very... But again, I might keep that, because that, again, might be useful for a small panel somewhere. Right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go for about another half an hour, and then I am going to stop. Just because I think there's only so many sprues you can really cut up in one sitting. I think basically I want to get this full to the top, and it's not far off, which is pretty cool. After Things wants to do a fantasy series, but not sure to do it serious or comedy. Well, your style I always thought was kind of serious with comedy. Bit of the old like black comedy. Yeah, I think you got to chuck in a bit of comedy there after Things. Because I think that's kind of what I know your channel as being, as in it has its serious points, but then every now and then it'll turn sort of comical. Steve Bowdevil, one of the bigger boobies. Well, it's funny because I did find the book when I moved house, and I moved from my house to the flat. I found a book, and it contains my characters in it. So I should really dig them out and then see if I can convert them to like 5e. Because say Bowdevil was one. I mean, one was called Fergal Sharkey. Because obviously there's a guy called Fergal Sharkey in the 80s was a singer. So as you can tell, I wasn't very original with some of the names sometimes. I can't remember what the others were called. But say it's definitely had a cleric. I would have had a magic user, and I would have had a paladin. Never been into fiefs, so I wouldn't have had one of those. Never been into like ranger, archers kind of things. So yeah, it would have been cleric, paladin, and a I don't know what they were called back then. Were they magic users, wizards, or mage? I'm not too sure what they were called back then. But yeah, I should really dig out my little book and see what they are. William, not played D&D, not found the right group yet. Well, so that's the thing. I'm hoping, I say the groups I'm going to play with it'll be like fun and you can get on, and it'll be like a regular thing. So I know one of the groups, it's not my neighbours, it's the other group. They're looking at doing it every week, which would be awesome if it does sort of work out. I think basically I think there's one person who knows how to play. They're the DM, and I think everyone else is going to be new. And obviously I'm kind of like second-hand new, I guess. Obviously got a bit of experience, but no experience with 5e. And I've been having a look through obviously the books, and there's a lot of different stuff. At least go for Shergold Fargi. Yeah, bear in mind this is when I was like 12, 13. Yeah, I wasn't that clever. Or I should have looked. You never know, I may have done. I'm saying I called him Fergal Sharkey. I may have called him a mix. I don't know. I should. Next time I come on, I'll try and dig the book out. Probably so it's in the wardrobe, and I've got a wardrobe in front of the wardrobe. Yeah, don't ask. It's because the wardrobe is a built-in one, which I just sort of put stuff in out of the way, and then put the wardrobe in front of that I actually use. So it's a bit of a pain to get into it sometimes. Harry, good name for a wizard. It's like putting your hand in some sort of like a lucky dip. Having a rummage round, but obviously I kind of know what I'm going to pull out. But say it is, it's kind of like at the bottom is where all the broken sprues are. Oh, and look, one of my an old panel. Oh, that's one of the better old panels. It's nice and smooth and thin. Thumping good, and I've heard. I'm a wizard. Right, well, so there are 33 crazy people out there willing to watch me cut up sprues for like the last couple of hours. Crazy people. Maybe old matey boy was right. We are all nerds. Sitting watching someone cut up sprues. Refurbished, not second hand. Yeah, I like that. That's better. Yeah, I'm refurbished. I think I need refurbishing. Yeah, that's quite funny. I like that. Well, I'm still trying to think of a name for my cleric. And I think I think was it you, Andre, that came up with, was it Mender half sprue? Because at the moment I love the half sprue. I think that's a cool name at the back. Not too fussed on the mend a bit, only because the kind of cleric I play, their primary role isn't healer. That's kind of like, well, definitely secondary, third. Yeah, I like DPS as a cleric, but I like wearing armor. But I like spells, and I like wearing armor, and I love spells. So yes, I definitely need a first name for my cleric. Obviously beginning with M, because the idea is on my shield it's going to have MH. So say for the surname, I do like half sprue. So it's just the first name. Oh, sorry, William. I think is Streamlabs just going nuts again. I don't know. So yeah, guys, if you've got a good name beginning with M for my cleric. Yeah, I thought it was you, Andre. So yeah, so half sprue I think is almost a definite as the surname for my cleric, because I like half sprue. That works well. It's just the first name beginning with M. Handful out, and then that'll be the last one. Right, there we go. Once this lot's done, then I'm done. Stick a fork in me time, I'm done. Mervyn. Yeah, Mervyn's not bad. Is that Macius? Mortarian, Malleus. I like Malleus. That's yeah, I think Malleus is the best one I think I like so far. Yeah, Malleus half sprue. Right, I'm going to write down Malleus because I know I will forget that name within 10 seconds of logging off. So far. You wrote in caps. See, sometimes Streamlabs is really good, and then sometimes it's a bit too good, as in you can't say anything sometimes. That's what was it, Malleus, isn't it? M-A-L-L-E-U-S. Yeah, Malleus. Say half sprue is like 99.9% going to be my character's second name. Malleus half sprue. Yeah, that kind of works well. I like that. Maud still has a good ring. Yeah, see, Maud. That sounds like the like a sitcom back in the 70s. Maud's like the woman down the road that's always moaning or something. Moany Maud. Yeah. So let's see. Can anyone top Malleus? Because that. That is the winner so far. That's just mostly half sprue. Andre, Morvain is mine though. If I ever make a character. Ah, that's quite cool. Yeah, Morvain. Yeah, I like that. Doesn't beat this one, but obviously for you, good. Plus you wouldn't want me nicking your one or borrowing your one. William means hammer. Is it really? So now that's even better, because if Malleus does mean hammer, that works well, because that's the weapon of his choice is a hammer. So yeah, so that would work even better. There's a nice little tie to it. Moany Maud half sprue, yeah. Sorry, Oh, man, Marcel. Marcel. Yes, the problem with, again, certain names, I instantly get a picture in my head. And with Marcel, obviously I've got the mime artist. And again, so when I'm thinking Marcel, and then I think my cleric, it's like, Mordred. Yeah, I like Mordred. Again, any kind of name that is, well, fantasy kind of related or wizardy kind of related. Again, it really is with me. Yeah, Malfoy. Yeah, it really is. It conjures up a picture in my head, and obviously Malfoy conjures up, well, Malfoy. Mordred. Yeah, that's quite cool. But again, for me, that conjures up the woman that was against Merlin, even though that wouldn't have been her name. That kind of conjures up that sort of person. But yeah, no, I'm cool. You're coming up with some good names though. But yeah, Malleus Half Sprue. I think we've got a winner. Yeah, because I think I've got it in my diary. I think it's 2 weeks Thursday is when I'm meeting up with these people, and then we're going to, like, because they're all new, we're going to spend the first, obviously, session going through, basically rolling our characters up, which, again, I'm looking forward to. I really am rather excited. So maybe I am a nerd. Old matey boy that moaned, he was right. He just didn't have to moan about it. Maybe his name was Money Maud. William, you're feeling fuzzy inside because I liked your suggestion. Ah, well, that's nice. I like making people feel fuzzy inside. That makes me happy. I say I will have a look it up and say if it does come up with hammer, even better. Rick, yeah, Malleus Half Sprue it is then, yes. Yeah, so I think we have got a winner there. The question now is backstory. What kind of a backstory does Malleus Half Sprue have? Plus, I've been looking at all the domains. Again, when I played D&D, it was obviously a lot more basic. There was certainly less choice of like type of cleric. Whereas now, is it 9? Is it 9 different domains? Well, no, I think it's 9. Was it 9? And then there's like 2 more in the other book. So there's well like 9 or 11 different kind of domains you can be. It's like blimey. And then you got obviously then get your backstory and all the rest of it, and what gods you're praying to and all that kind of stuff. Fuzzy inside, not mouldy cheese. It does mean hammer. Awesome. Oh, that yeah. Okay, so we've got the name now. Then it's definitely Malleus Half Sprue is the name of my first D&D character in 35 years. Right, so these are one of those sprues. I don't know if you were here the other day when I was talking about send me any kind of Warhammer sprues. They all work well. The only ones I don't like putting in, which I've only done once before, are ones that have got paint on. Only because it doesn't really affect it much, but it affected it a little bit. As in, when you put these in, obviously the paint kind of dissolves, but leaves little bits. So when you get the goo out, it does leave bits. For the panels I'm doing, it probably won't make any odds, so I think I will use this. But I know if you're trying to make a real super smooth panel, when it comes out, it's got little bits in. I'm talking little bits. I'm talking like minute bits, but still enough that if you want a perfectly smooth panel, you won't get it if there's bits of paint in there. But I say for this, it'll be cool. What race? Dwarf. I like dwarfs. So obviously you kind of know that I like orcs. Well, orcs are obviously when I was doing World of Warcraft. Obviously, most of my characters were orcs if they were on a horde, and if they were alliance, then they were dwarfs. Because I like dwarfs. I'm a bit taller than a dwarf. I'm only 5'7", so if I was a dwarf, I'd be a tall dwarf. But I just like them because they're obviously stocky. So yeah, so it's a dwarf cleric by the name of Malleus Half Sprue. I'm not sure what domain. I'm thinking light. From what I've looked, big feet, beard, and looks. I can't even say that other word. Educatl. I probably murdered that, but yeah. What was I saying? What was I saying? Can't remember what I was saying. Oh, what domain I'm going to be. Yeah, I've had a quick look, and light seems to be one that casts like fireballs, fairy fire, or no, cones of fire, I think it does. So I want to be a cleric that doesn't really stand at the front, kind of stands in the middle, and yeah, casts things. Steve, Malleus has been thrown out of the guild for creating new spells, but as time goes on, his guild's in trouble, and his newly learnt spells help them, so he becomes a grand wizard-ish. Exactly, that's the kind of thing I want. Basically, I want to be a wizard who wears armour. I mean, if you could get a wizard or a mage that can wear armour, then I would be a wizard. But I don't think you can. Obviously, wizards are normally squishy little people in their robes, and they stand way at the back. So yeah, I want to be a wizard, but in armour, which is why obviously I'm going for a cleric. But yeah, so I've had a look at quite a few of the domains. There's a few that obviously do spells, but again, because I'm really new to it, it's like, which one do I go for? I watched a few videos on it, but then the videos that I have watched, pardon me, the guys have, it's like almost like a 20-minute video, and I just want to pick out a few bits, but you've also got to watch all of it to sort of find out the bits that I need to hear or listen or know about. So I've kind of given up a little bit at the moment. So when I go and meet up these guys to do the first session, I'm going to sort of say there that, I'll keep that little fun, that I want to be a wizard, but obviously I want to be, I want to be a cleric, but I want to be a caster cleric. I don't want to be a healer. I don't mind healing, as in doing a bit of healing every now and then, but I don't want that to be my primary sort of role. Because I'm sure when I used to play D&D, obviously like now, when you play like Modern Warcraft, you have a tank, a healer, and then DPS. I'm sure when I used to play D&D, we never even thought about tanks, DPS, healers. Everyone was like a bit of all of them, unless you were like a squishy mage, and then yeah, you were at the back. But Eldritch Blast. I'd like your Dwarf Forge domain cleric. Yeah, so I do need to have I do need to read up. So I've got about 2 weeks until we meet up. I think it's 2.5 weeks. So I've got a bit of time to do a bit more preparation, a bit more reading up on the types of cleric, just to see which one I want to be. And then obviously the reading up on the spells, obviously what gods I need to be thinking about, sort of praying to or whatever. And then what kind of symbol I want, whether it's on a, I don't know, on a book or, I don't know, making stuff up now, no. I'll see if he finds other people, friends who have had similar things happen to them. So they vow to find the person and set out on a quest to rid the land of evil. So that's the kind of thing I really am looking forward to, that I loved. I don't even know what that is. With D&D is just like the lore behind it, and obviously the quests and what you've got to try and achieve, and what gold there is, and XP, and all that kind of fun stuff. Yeah, so guys, literally I am going to finish any moment soon. Sharon, what we're making today, I'm still I think you're going to find that I am making the Tau Manta, and I'm going to be making that for quite some time. I'm kind of thinking it's going to be taking me at least 3-4 weeks, and that might be an optimistic 3-4 weeks. It's hard to say, because it's one of those things, when I start a project, whenever I start something that is quite big and quite involved, like the Orc Stomper as well, things do go very slow at the beginning, because I say when you do stuff with sprues, there's a lot of prep work. There's a lot of stuff you need to do before you can even start to actually build anything. So that's why at the moment, obviously, I'm chopping up loads of sprues. Making loads of sprue goo, because we all need loads of sprue goo. Making loads of panels, because this thing's going to be built up with panels that are going to be made into boxes. Boxes are going to be stuck together. They're going to have panels over the top of them, and then all the fine, fancy, detailed curves, bits and pieces on top of that. So I'm kind of thinking 3-4 weeks. It might be longer. I don't think it's going to be any quicker. But again, it's hard to say. Because once I get all these panels made, once I start assembling it, and then doing all the finer details and the bits and pieces on top, I might find it might go quick. But then it might not. Because I say, I want to be doing other projects as well. Just because obviously I still want to like do a video every week. So that's why obviously I'm going to be working on this, working on other projects, as well as obviously doing weddings and family life and all that other kind of stuff. So it's kind of a lot to fit in a week, really. But yeah, so I've got the Monster Bash thing that I'm doing. The Monster Bash thing is built. It just needs obviously painting, which I'm going to get done in the next few days. But that video won't come out until the end of the month. I've got to finish off the video that's going to come out tomorrow, which is all about sprues, what I've kind of learned over the last year from making things with sprues, and how I basically think about things. Like whenever I make something, the first thing I think about is a framework, and then I build on the framework to make whatever it is, basically. So yeah, the video coming out tomorrow at 8 PM UK time. And again, it's all about sprues. The video tomorrow, basically. I say I am working on some D&D stuff as well. I say this early on today I was making my own flocking, so making the old like grass from sawdust, green paint, and sticking it in a coffee blender. Seemed to work really well, and then like sifting it into trays. So I've got one tray with coarse sand, coarse grass, and one sort of box tray with very fine sand, which is pretty cool. So I've got a big board over there that I've started working on. I want to put the grass obviously over that, make some paths, but then kind of make it modular in a way that I can add bits to it. So I want to make some like mountainy bits, well not mountains, but rocky sort of cliffy areas that I can add onto it and take off. So yeah, again I've got lots of sort of plans I want to do, which again guys, which is why I'm trying now to sort of get this channel in a position next year where I can do this full time. That's kind of what I'm aiming for now. So initially when I made this channel, that wasn't even a thought in my head to do this full time. The channel was purely a way of keeping me busy and occupied during lockdown number 2. But as this channel is doing well, and obviously I know now it can do obviously better, and obviously getting sponsors, patrons, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, so my plan is to sort of get this to a place where I can do it full time next year, and then that will just be awesome, because then I can obviously spend more time doing this. Because even though I spend quite a lot of time doing it now, I'll have more time, especially like during the summer. During the summers I don't get much time to do this. Well, this year I didn't, because obviously I'm back doing weddings. But yeah, I would love to do this full time. Harry is just getting into sprue terrain. But you don't think you're ready for the ooey gooey sprue stuff. Any advice on how to make the corrugated metal panels? Yeah, well obviously it's made from the ooey gooey stuff. I'll quickly show you how I make it, but in tomorrow's video you'll see the video of how I make it. Right, somehow I think I've lost the silicone mould. No, I found the silicone mould. Oh, there's sprues all over the floor. It's like a Lego minefield. Yeah, so the corrugated card, or corrugated panels, obviously this fella. To make that, it's simply a case of, you will need to make the ooey gooey stuff. I made a mould. You can get corrugated like card. It's like paper, but obviously it's got like the little bobbly bits in it. I basically made a mould of that, obviously this, and then you get the ooey gooey sprue stuff, put it in here, get some greaseproof paper on the top, get a little roller, roll it out so it basically flattens it. Obviously it flattens it like that. Obviously I've cut this nice and straight, but yeah, you flatten it into this, and then when you take it out, obviously it gets the indentations in it. But yeah, you will need to make the ooey gooey sprue stuff. But say the video coming out tomorrow, I run through making the ooey gooey stuff. I talk about the fact that the acetone in there, you can just keep reusing it. You just keep topping it up with acetone, you top it up with the sprues. The fact that you can make silicone rubber moulds, use the sprue goo in these, it doesn't deteriorate these in any way. It doesn't eat into this or anything, so you can reuse this as many times as you want. But again, that's the kind of thing I'm going to talk about in tomorrow's video. So if you're into any kind of sprue builds, tomorrow's video is a must, because like, it will go through sort of everything I've kind of like learned, found out, tried, experimented with over the last year. I'm not sure how long the video is going to be. I'm kind of thinking around the 15-minute mark, but I'm not too sure because obviously I've not made it yet. I've made parts of it. I just need to put it all together, do lots of voicing over, and all the rest. How he's going to put his big boy pants on and embrace the goo. Yeah, it's a simple thing to make. It's, I say, the fact that you can use it. Say that's in there now. If I wanted to, I could put that in the cupboard, not use it, and say the longest I've not used one of these is 7 weeks. Because it's got the lid on, there is no smell of acetone. So that's the other thing I'm going to mention with this. The only time you smell the acetone is when you take the lid off, do what you're doing, put the lid back on. The goo that you've then got on your table or greaseproof paper or whatever, the smell dissipates, disappears really quick. So basically, you only smell it for a few seconds when you take that lid off. Once the lid's back on, the goo itself, the acetone, it really does evaporate really, really quick. I mean, admittedly, I'm in a room and I've got 3 windows, one at the front, one at the back, and one at the side. I have them open all the time. But like I said before in other videos, that's primarily more when I'm using the glue. I find the glue, like the cement glue, I find this glue really strong smelling, and this stuff lingers in the air. The acetone doesn't. It doesn't linger in the air at all. But again, that's the kind of thing I'm going to talk about in the video tomorrow, basically. But yeah, definitely have a go using the sprue goo. It really is easy. It's great, and I say, if nothing else, you can use that as a filler. So if you build something and you have gaps and cracks, use that, fill it. Because obviously once it dries, it turns into plastic. You can then sand it if you need to. But cool. Rice Hard, good evening to you and good morning from you. I'm just about to go, Rice Hard. You've literally just come on as I'm about to disappear. But it's good to see you. Good morning to you. So yeah, Friday, eh? Rick, Steve, smell my acetone. Right, I'm not even going to ask what Rick and Steve are doing. I think they're doing a bit of male bonding there by the looks of it. Yeah, New Zealand has woken up. Yeah, it's always funny. It's always amazed me, even like as a kid, that everyone's obviously all the time zones, and obviously there's one time zone or one area where people are waking up, or they're there on different days almost. So someone could be there on like a Monday and someone's there on a Sunday. It's always amazed me as a kid. So yes, doing the live streams again, it kind of kicks that back in about being a kid and just having that wonderful feeling that people are in different time zones. Obviously, it's pitch black where I am, but some people are sitting on the beach right now, and that's just bizarre to think. Yeah, I want to be sitting on the beach. To be honest, yeah, I want to be that person on the beach, not the person sitting here in the dark. Right, I am going to go, guys. I think I've done enough cutting. I'm now going to go and do some chilling, and I think I might finish painting that off. Before I go, one last shameless plug. Easy Roller Dice. They've made this for me ages ago. That's about 5 months ago, I guess. It's now available to buy. I think it's $21.95. There's a link down below. If you click on that, there's also, I've got a code. I think it's Mini15. It'll say it down below. I'm sure it's Mini15. if you put Mini 15 in, you get 15% off, which I think is not too bad a price for you to be able to roll your dice on my face. Plus, if you're into dice, check out their dice. I mean, I've always loved dice, D&D dice anyway, because obviously they're irregular sizes and shapes and numbers. But go and have a look at Easy Roller Dice. They do a crazy amount of types. And I've been very fortunate that they've sent me quite a few, and I think I've got about 6 sets so far, and they've recently just sent me another few sets. And also I've got this rather large, nice one. Whereas this is the one where if you get upset, you just roll this on the table and it'll wipe out everything, probably the table, because obviously it's quite a bit bigger than its sort of normal counterpart. But yeah, check out Easy Roller Dice, and it would be wonderful if you bought these. I don't think I get anything from it, but they have said that if people do buy these, they will make some dice with my logo on, which is a win-win for me. And for you, can get to roll your dice on my face. Anyway, I'm going to go now. I'm going to start waffling. It's been great having you guys there. Really enjoyed it. Apologies that this wasn't the most exciting of videos, because obviously there's a little bit of painting and then a lot of cutting. But I hope you had fun just chatting or listening to me waffle on like I do. So, good evening, good night, good morning, good day. You guys have a good one. I'm going to live stream tomorrow. I'm not sure if I'm doing it first thing in the morning, or I might do like what I've done now. I might do it between 6 and 8 in the evening in the UK time, because then my video is going to come out at 8 o'clock. So I'm kind of hoping by doing it by 6 to 8, we can get on, have a good old chat. I might start gluing some panels together to start making the carcass of my towel manta, which would be pretty cool. Cool. All right, guys. Well, I am going to... What am I going to do? I'm going to stick the old face cover on for starters, so you can't see me. I can pull faces and all that, and do that one. So, cheers, guys. You'll take care, and I'll catch you on the next one.